Hello, everybody. My name is Sophie Padalecki, and today I'm going to do a presentation on wellness, and this is from the Office of the PACE Success Coaches. So I hope you enjoy. So first, I wanted to give a little overview of what we're going to be talking about today. So number one, we have wellness defined, the dimensions of wellness, self-care strategies, mindfulness, and we're going to finish it off with work-life balance. So, what is wellness? I feel like this word is just thrown around a lot and everyone kind of knows what it means, but no one's ever had a real formal definition. So I wanted to do that. According to the Global Wellness Institute, wellness is the active pursuit of activities, choices, and lifestyles that lead to a state of holistic health. I bolded active because wellness is not passive. Wellness is associated with intentions, choices, and actions as we work towards an optimal state of health and well-being. Second, I highlighted holistic because wellness extends beyond physical health and incorporates many different dimensions that should work in harmony. So, like I just mentioned, wellness is a bunch of different dimensions that all work in harmony. So here I have a model of the dimensions of wellness. Now, there's a lot of different models out there with different dimensions, but this is one of my favorites. So all of these are different pieces that work together to make someone well, that contributes to their wellness. Number one, we have emotional wellness. You can see it's in the pink. Emotional wellness involves developing an awareness of your feelings and your response to everyday interactions. So how you're feeling emotionally and mentally. Next, we have occupational. This is wellness that allows you to explore various career options and encourages you to pursue opportunities you enjoy the most. Next, we have intellectual wellness. Intellectual wellness encourages us to engage in creative and mentally stimulating activities, and it requires lifelong learning and curiosity. Environmental wellness involves our connection to the natural world. Some ways to work on environmental wellness involve spending time outdoors and exploring nature. Financial wellness involves managing your finances, pretty self-explanatory, maybe keeping a budget, also making sure you have money to spend on fun things. It's not all about keeping a tight budget. Next, we have social wellness. So this focuses on building and nurturing meaningful and supportive relationships with individuals, groups, and communities. Physical wellness involves bodily health, and then we have spiritual wellness, which allows us to be in tune with our inner selves. So it's not necessarily religious. This realm of wellness lets us find meaning in the events of our lives and define our individual purposes. So as you can see, there are a bunch of different ways in which you can practice wellness. And all of these work together to help you be well overall. So now I want you to pause the video and take some time to stop and think, which dimension of wellness would you like to work on? How will you do so? And which dimension of wellness is most important to you? So you can pause the video, you could write this down in a journal, you could talk to a friend about it, anything really. All right, next we're going to talk about self-care because self-care is really important to wellness because you need to practice self-care in order to nurture all the dimensions that we talked about before. So according to the National Institute of Mental Health, self-care means taking the time to do things that help you live well and improve both your physical and mental health. And I wanted to add some helpful hints. Self-care can look different for everyone. So for some people, it might be taking a bubble bath. For some people, it may be drawing. For some people, it might be catching up with a friend. And then another helpful hint I have is that even small acts of self-care can have a huge impact. Next, I wanted to talk about some self-care strategies. So number one is mindful body movement. Now you may be wondering why I chose to say body movement instead of working out or exercise. This is because moving your body does not have to take place in a gym and should not be about body aesthetics. Mindful body movement can include traditional exercises like running or lifting weights, but it can also include things that people might not think of like yoga, dancing, walking, or even gardening. Next, I have mindfulness. So I'm going to explain later, but mindfulness is a great way to practice self-care. And then I have rest. Rest, relaxation, and getting enough sleep are great self-care techniques. Resting and taking breaks is a great way to avoid burnout and stay productive. If you go and go and go without taking breaks, it'll be very stressful on the mind and the body. And this, I wanted to point out this is not an exhaustive list of self-care. As I said before, self-care can look different for everyone. These are just some of my favorites, and these are very accessible. Now we're going to stop and think again. How will you practice self-care going forward? Make a self-care plan and write it down in a journal or on your phone. That's just a little suggestion because if you write it down, you put it in your planner, you'll really commit to taking care of yourself. Alrighty, next I want to talk about mindfulness. So mindfulness is the basic human ability to be fully present, aware of where we are and what we're doing, and not overly reactive or overwhelmed by what's going on around us. So pretty much mindfulness is about taking a break, being mindful of what's going on in your life and not just going without really thinking about how your life's going, thinking about your self-care and thinking about your wellness. So some benefits of being mindful are reduced stress, increased performance, that could be in school, in work, in relationships, gain insight, and gain awareness of yourself. So if you're mindful, you can really get in touch with yourself. Some mindfulness techniques. Number one is journaling. This is a great way to be mindful, is just at the end of the day or the beginning of the day, you can write down in your journal, set some intentions, or just reflect on the day, what went well, what didn't go well. Next, we have meditation, breathing exercises, and enjoying nature. And if you're interested in meditation, I know there's a lot of great apps out there that you can look that can help you guide through a meditation. So lastly, I wanted to talk about work and school life balance. So here I have a quote from the Mental Health Foundation. The pressure of an increasingly demanding work culture is one of the biggest challenges to society's mental health. So basically, work-life balance is making sure that you can meet deadlines, but still have enough time for friends and hobbies. Having enough time to sleep and eat properly, and not worrying about school or work when you're having leisure time. So let's say you put in your planner, I'm gonna go hang out with my friend today. Hopefully you're not sitting there worrying about all that you have to do when you get home, all the studying you have to do, all the homework you have to do. It's great that if you can compartmentalize and be mindful and focus on what you're doing in the moment rather than thinking about your work. So here are some tips I have on how to improve work-life balance. Number one is taking proper breaks while at school and work, thinking of ways to de-stress after a tough day at school or work. And lastly, don't be afraid to ask for help / extra support from friends, teachers, and advisors. I'm sure that if you're feeling overwhelmed with a class and you're feeling like your work-life balance is not going well, if you went and talked to a professor, they would have a lot of ways to help you and a lot of tips, and they could even connect you to other resources outside of the college to help. And then down in the left, I just have a little reminder to remember that you are a person before you are a student and you're a worker. The number one important thing in this time in your life is to honor yourself and take care of yourself. So just remember that humanity comes before homework, it comes before studying, and it comes before your job. So thank you so much for listening. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you learned something. I hope it inspired you to maybe do some self-care later or some mindfulness activities. If you have any questions or concerns, I put my email because I love to talk about wellness. And then if you wanted to read more about anything I talked about, I included the links in the bottom right corner of each slide. Thank you.